Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 245. And yes, it's going to be a little bit different because I am once again on the road in Sri Lanka making videos for my Best in Tech videos. So stay tuned for that good stuff because that's going to be really fun. But another week, a lot of Tesla news and EV news. So in this video, we're going to check out some new stuff about Tesla's Optimus robot. The Cybertruck is kicking ass and taking names, and Waymo's co-founder is saying he would rather be in Tesla's shoes than Waymo's. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
And I guess we have a lot of Tesla Cybertruck haters that has to bow down to the Cybertruck because it has just surpassed every other non-Tesla EV in the US in sales. So Kelley Blue Book released a list of EV sales in the US in Q3, and boy do we have a lot of haters that have to swallow a lot of camels, because Tesla's Cybertruck was the third best-selling EV in the US in Q3 2024. So the fools that said the Tesla Cybertruck would just be a niche product have just been proven wrong, as it has even overtaken the Ford Mustang Mach-E. So if the Cybertruck is a niche product, I guess an electric SUV is also a niche product as well, even though the best-selling car in the world is an electric SUV. And the Cybertruck also sold more than 2.3 times more units than the F-150 Lightning. This is according to Cox Automotive data. But we all remember Jim Farley saying, "Take that, Elon," because Ford got the EV pickup truck to market before Tesla. But here we are only a couple of years later, and Tesla's Cybertruck has overtaken every other non-Tesla EV on the market in the US. Take that, Jim Farley. And of course, the Model Y and the Model 3 were number 1 and 2 respectively. But history kind of repeats itself here. The same thing was said from the haters about the Model S and the X and the 3 and the Y. Even when they started production, the haters still said that Tesla's EVs was never going to sell and the competition was coming for Tesla, and then Tesla would just drop out of the sky. And here we are, and even the Cybertruck that has not even been out a full year has already overtaken all the competition that have had years in head start. Tesla is simply just embarrassing the entire automotive industry, the haters and the short sellers. And I wonder if Steve Wesley still thinks the Cybertruck is a flop after it has outsold every non-Tesla EV in the US, or if he will come out and say, "I was wrong." Probably not. But he was wrong, together with all the haters that came out saying the Cybertruck was a flop, it will never be made, it will never be produced, and was just a stock pump. When the haters are wrong, they do it in style. But even Fiat was also out making some free advertising for Cybertruck, as they used it in an ad. But no wonder, as they only sold 253 Fiat 500e in Q3 in the US. So about 68 times less than the Cybertruck. But Sawyer also wrote this post. The $100,000 Tesla Cybertruck, 16,692 units, outsold the combined sales of all these EV pickup trucks in Q3. The Ford F-150 Lightning, 7,162. The Hummer EV, 4,305. Rivian R1T, 3,817. And the Sierra EV, 387. And it does seem like Ford is having trouble getting their dealerships to take more F-150 Lightnings. So they are giving them huge incentives to do so. Because if the car is at the dealership lot, Ford can register them as sold. So it looks better on Ford's earnings report. So dealers can make $22,500 by ordering an F-150 Lightning from regional centers designed to reduce carry-on cost and give customers a quicker access. So while the Cybertruck is outselling the F-150 Lightning, even though Tesla so far has only sold the $100,000 version, Ford is giving dealers $22,000 incentive to try to boost their sales numbers here in Q4 while they're still losing money on these electric vehicles. And even the Cybertruck on X tuned in to this post and wrote, "But they said nobody would want one." Yes, they were very, very wrong. And we got a big fat line under who is leading the race in the EV pickup truck market.
You know how much I value my digital privacy, right? So when I saw this news, one of the biggest data leaks ever, affecting 3 billion individuals, it's unsettling because this isn't just any data. It's deeply personal stuff like real names, online alias, social security numbers, where you live, where you have been, what you do online, and more. Imagine if login details, social security numbers, or bank details fell into the wrong hands. It's a recipe for disaster, like identity theft. Huge loans has even been taken under people's names without them even knowing about it. And where does these data theft get your info? Likely from data brokers who trade personal info like it's just another commodity. But here's the kicker. There's a way out. You can actually request to have your data erased from these broker databases. Sounds simple, right? But tracking down where your data is and getting it removed is like finding a needle in a haystack. Here is where it gets interesting. A study showed out of those 3 billion whose data was compromised, not a single one who used Incogni had their information exposed. That's why I teamed up with Incogni, the sponsor of today's video. Incogni takes the hassle out of this process. They contact the data brokers for you, insist on your data removal, and handles any pushback. With their family and friends option, you can protect up to 4 people under one plan. And they are quick too. Within minutes, they identified 46 databases with my info and started clearing out 13 immediately, and the rest is in the works. You can even watch the progress, seeing how many requests are out, pending, or complete. If you're ready to claim back your privacy, check out the link down below. It will support this channel and you will get a hefty 60% off if you use my code BESTINTESLA at checkout. And a huge thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this video.
The German automakers are continuing shrinking while the market is growing, which is very concerning according to experts. As Stefan Bratzel, director of the Center of Automotive Management, calls a poisonous cocktails of challenges. German automakers are losing market share in key markets, Europe, US and China. Sales for Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, BMW and Mercedes were down 2.1% in 2024 despite an overall market growth. Therefore, market share dropped from 20.4% to 22% pre-pandemic. Competitors like BYD, Hyundai, Kia, Tesla is gaining ground. German brands face 4 major challenges: over-reliance on combustion engines, tightening CO2 regulations, declining Chinese markets, and overcapacity/high labor cost. Profitability in China has significantly decreased for German automakers. Factories' utilization rate in Germany are critically low. And they are also forgetting that the hybrid's utility factor will also be lowered in 2025, which will also put some more pressure on them, as they do sell a lot of hybrids to get to their CO2 targets. German automakers are facing a critical junction as they lose ground in their most important markets. An exclusive analysis by Handelsblatt reveals that Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, BMW and Mercedes has delivered only 7.2 million vehicles in Europe, the US and China in 2024, and that was the 2.1% decrease from previous year. This decline comes despite overall growth in the regions, resulting in a market share drop. This situation is particularly dire in China, where Mercedes CEO Ole Kellenus describes a Darwinian price war. German automakers are struggling to transition to electric vehicles, with their EV market share lagging behind overall market trends, especially in China. The upcoming tightening of the EU CO2 fleet limits in 2025 added further pressure, with only BMW currently meeting the new standards. Volkswagen face potential billion-euro fines if it fails to increase its EV sales. Volkswagen CEO Oliver Blume says the pie has gotten smaller and we have more guests at the table. Yes, and the Chinese market, once a profit powerhouse for German brands, is now a source of concern. UBS analyst Patrick Hummel warns that Western mass market manufacturers could become obsolete in China, facing stiff competition from local champions like BYD and Geely. Bank of America's analyst Horst Schneider noted, the problem for German manufacturers is that they have not participated in the increase in production in China because local brands and Tesla are dividing up the growth market amongst themselves. Compounding these issues are overcapacity and high labor costs in German factories. Volkswagen's Wolfsburg plant, for instance, is operating at just 61% capacity, while Mercedes' Sindelfingen facility is at a mere 44%. With labor costs in Germany significantly higher than other European countries, the industry faces tough decisions ahead. Despite these challenges, industry expert Frank Swoop noted that each of these three major German automakers is still expecting to achieve billions of euros in operating profits this year. However, he warns that Volkswagen, BMW and Mercedes risk entering a downward spiral if they don't address these four major problems promptly. And we got some new videos of the Optimus robot and some cool new information about the bot. So Tesla released a new video about Tesla's robot walking around their factories, and this is done autonomously. None of what you see in this video is teleoperated. This is all done by the robot itself, by its neural network. So it can walk around avoiding humans and obstacles, all while capturing visual cues about this specific environment. So together, multiple robots build a shared understanding of its surrounding, which they can tap into for navigation. This is so cool. They're going to be able to find its way around a factory much better than any human, as it even knows about the areas and parts of the factory that it has never been to, but other robots might have. This is so cool. This also means that when Tesla deploy a new robot into a factory, it already knows everything about the factory thanks to the shared understanding about these specific factories. And the bots will, of course, just continue doing this everywhere they go over the next couple of decades. Eventually, the robot will learn every corner of a city or state or countries. They will quickly learn so much more than we humans ever could, as they will learn from thousands of bots, then from millions of bots, and then from billions of bots. Imagine if you got all the knowledge and expertise of all 8 billion humans in your mind. Just try to understand how much knowledge these robots are going to have access to. And including the whole internet as well, of course, they will know everything we humans know collectively and know more about the physical world than any one human will ever be able to do. And they also showed us this simple and easy charging solution, where the robot can just find and navigate to the closest charger when it's running low, which the robot shows with red light around the face. And then it's just backing into the little sleek charger on the wall using its rear view camera. Yes, it literally has eyes in the back and charges up and go back to work. Just a very cool setup. And it demonstrated it lifting a tray with 11 kilos of batteries in it and carried over to a table, all done autonomously and without overheating, even though it had to carry heavy load. And it has also learned to walk on stairs. Very cool to see, and just how smooth it is walking up those stairs. It has really come a long way. Remember, 2 years ago Tesla had nothing, and now this. The pace of progress on these robots is just unreal. And then we saw it react with humans, understanding what the humans are saying and reacting to it. Again, it is not tailor-operated like the ones we saw at the We Robot event. This is all done autonomously, and we can see just how smooth the movements are. Easy to see that they have learned these movements from humans. All very cool stuff, and this is all from the old version of the robot. This is not the version 3 that should come out by the end of this year with the new hands and a lot more. Can't wait to see more updates about the Optimus robot, as this is without a doubt the most important product for Tesla in the long run. And we have another big name in the world of autonomous driving saying that Tesla is the one that is in front, just like we heard from Nvidia's CEO. Yes, the people in the know seems to know. Anthony Lewandowski, who co-founded Google's Waymo, says Tesla has a huge advantage in data in its self-driving race. I'd rather be in Tesla's shoes than Waymo's shoes. Yes, Tesla already has cars on the road, some of which use semi-autonomous features for tasks such as parking and lane switching, and learning all the while. Musk has the greatest fleet to do this, he said. There's millions of Teslas out there that are constantly alerting, feeding back their data to Tesla to make the product better, and that's ultimately what really going to be the differentiator here. That you have the richest and most consistent data to continuously improve over time. And he continues, I would say that Tesla has examples of maybe 10,000 or maybe 1,000,000 times more data than Waymo in terms of all other scenarios of driving. Yes, exactly. This is something I see often, that people compare Tesla to Waymo. But the company has two very different approaches to full self-driving. And I do believe that you need to solve a big piece of AI to be able to solve the true full self-driving. And that is what Tesla is going for. And someone like Waymo is just going for the pre-mapped geofenced areas. This way, Waymo will never solve a general solution for autonomy. But Tesla will. And yes, Tesla has 1,000,000 times more data than Waymo, and Tesla is increasing that gap every single day. In my opinion, there is no catching up to Tesla on full self-driving. That race has been over since the day Elon realized that they need to solve AI vision, and they have not looked back ever since. And version 12 has really shown us just how fast they can get this version to work and on different form factors. But if you don't get it quite yet, even though Waymo's co-founder and Nvidia's CEO has said that Tesla is far in front in full self-driving, well, let's just hear from Jensen, the CEO of Nvidia, talk about just how insane the pace of what xAI have done with their supercomputer is. He already said that Tesla is in front when it comes to full self-driving, but try to listen to this one.
Of course, there's one new entrant that has the money, the smarts, the ambition. That's X.AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
and,
yeah,
well, there are reports out there that you and Larry and Elon had dinner. They talked you out of 100,000 H100s. They went to Memphis and built a large coherent supercluster in a matter of months.
So first, three points don't make a line. Okay. Yes, I had dinner with them. Causality is the.
What do you think about their ability to stand up that supercluster? And there's talk out there that they want another 100,000 H200s, right, to expand the size of that supercluster. First, talk to us a little bit about X and their ambitions and what they've achieved, but also, are we already at the age of clusters of 200 and 300,000 GPUs?
The answer is yes. And then the first of all, acknowledgement of achievement where it's deserved. From the moment of concept to a data center that's ready for NVIDIA to have our gear there, to the moment that we powered it on, had it all hooked up, and it did its first training.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So that first part, just building a massive factory, liquid cooled, energized, permitted, in the short time that was done. I mean, that is like superhuman.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as I know, there's only one person in the world who could do that. You know, I mean, Elon is singular in this understanding of engineering and construction and large systems and marshaling resources.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And of course, then his engineering team is extraordinary. I mean, the software team's great, the networking team's great, the infrastructure team is great. You know, Elon understands this deeply. And from the moment that we decided to go, the planning with our engineering team, our networking team, our infrastructure computing team, the software team, all of the preparation in advance, then all of the infrastructure, all of the logistics and the amount of technology and equipment that came in on that day, NVIDIA's infrastructure and computing infrastructure and all that technology, to training, 19 days. You know what? You don't want.
Did anybody sleep? 24/7.
No question that nobody slept. But first of all, yeah, 19 days is incredible. Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of nice to just take a step back and just, do you know how many days 19 days is? It's just a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Right.
And the mountain of technology, if you were to see it, is unbelievable. All of the wiring and the networking and, you know, networking NVIDIA gear is very different than networking hyperscale data centers, okay? The number of wires that goes in one node, the back of a computer is all wires. It's just getting this mountain of technology integrated and all the software, incredible.
Right.
Yeah, so I think what Elon and the X team did, and I'm really appreciative that he acknowledges the engineering work that we did with him and the planning work and all that stuff. But what they achieved is singular, never been done before. Just to put in perspective, 100,000 GPUs. That's, you know, easily the fastest supercomputer on the planet. That's one cluster. A supercomputer that you would build would take normally 3 years to plan.
Right.
And then they deliver the equipment, and it takes 1 year to get it all working.
Yes.
We're talking about 19 days.
Wow.
What's the credit of the NVIDIA platform, right? That it's the whole processes are hardened.
That's right. Yeah. Everything's already working. And of course, there's a whole bunch of, you know, X algorithms and X framework and X stack and things like that. And we got a ton of integration we have to do. But the planning of it was extraordinary. Just pre-planning of it, you know.
N of one is right. Elon is an N of one.
Yep, the pace of innovation is all that matters. And Tesla is now already building supercomputers faster than all the big IT guys. Tesla has done something that usually take 4 years to plan and execute in 19 days. Unreal. There is no chance of catching Tesla on autonomy. No chance.
And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show.
Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. SpaceX made history last week with not just catching the heavy booster that was just amazing, but as Sawyer wrote on X, with tonight's Falcon 9 launch, SpaceX has achieved a milestone. For the first time, all 3 of its rocket types have successfully launched within a 48-hour period. Starship, 5th flight ever, Falcon Heavy, 11th flight ever, Falcon 9, 380th flight ever. This is just nuts. The others don't have a rocket booster that can put something into space and then land back down. And now Tesla is even catching the boosters out of midair. This is truly an unintended monopoly in the space industry. But when one is just so far ahead that the others can't keep up, this is what happens. And Elon did say that SpaceX will try to catch the Starship itself next year. This is going to be yet another insane sight. And BMW is still trying to fight against the ban of ICE cars in 2035. As BMW's CEO said, Europe must cancel its plan to ban new fossil fuel-emitting cars from 2035 to reduce reliance on Chinese battery supply chain and play to its technological strength. Yeah, because you're not moving fast enough. You have opened up the market for the Chinese. And I cannot understand how BMW still today, with the pace we see from the EV adoption in Europe and China, believe that there will be any ICE market left by 2035. There really won't. BEVs will become cheaper on the sticker price within a few years, and then there is no turning back. Who will, in their rightful mind, then pay to get an inferior and more expensive to operate product? The answer is no one. And another automaker struggling a bit is Stellantis, as I also talked about last week, that they are fighting with a very high inventory. And in Q3, Stellantis deliveries fell sharply in North America and Europe. Deliveries were down 17% in Europe and 36% in North America. So the automaker is working to reduce excess inventory following an unexpected dire cash flow and profit warning last month. And Tesla continues to execute in China, and as we already talked about, the Germans are going down. In Q3 in China, BMW were down 30%, Mercedes were down 13%, the Volkswagen Group was down 15%. And here in September, Tesla was up 66%. Year to date, Tesla is up 5.7%. So Tesla did close the gap they lost in the beginning of the year and continues to grow. Tesla sold 48,202 Model Ys during September in China, its highest year to date. It's up 6.34% from 45,000 units in August and up 16.35% from the 41,000 units in September. And rooftop solar has achieved a major milestone by supplying more than 50% of demand for the first time on Australia's main electric grid. There are now more than 23 gigawatt hours of rooftop solar in Australia, and it is expected to grow fourfold in the coming decade. And Elon confirmed that the Tesla Cybertruck will be sold globally. Nice. And we can celebrate that the strike against Tesla in Sweden is now 1 year old. And as Niklas wrote, it has been interesting to follow. From Tesla's perspective, Tesla can probably be happy. They have won the sympathy of the people and broken the all-time sales record, and also in many Tesla workshops broken old record of most serviced Teslas. And the union has got nothing, as people in Sweden now see them more as a mafia than anything else. And we have seen people speculate about Tesla making an airline because we saw Plaid Airline on the phone in the Cybercab presentation. I don't think this is the case, but just Tesla trolling a bit and didn't want to name out a single airline, so they made one up. And we got to see Tesla's wireless charging mat for the robotaxi, so probably something they wanted to show at the We Robot event, but couldn't as they ran out of time as they had a medical incident and was delayed about 1 hour. So this is probably something they wanted to show off at the event but decided to cut it short so they could get as many people as possible to try out the robotaxis and talk to the robots. But cool charging, but I do hope that it will be able to use Tesla's normal superchargers as well, or it will be a big disadvantage for buying a Cybercab if you cannot charge on Tesla's already existing superchargers. And speaking of superchargers, Tesla opened Ensu Morimachi in Japan, commemorating 60,000 superchargers post globally and 600 superchargers post in Japan. Nice. And Tesla also showed off another thing that was probably supposed to be shown at the event, that the Cybercab will be running on 4680 cells, and so will Optimus, as they will also share the same computer and cameras, making everything cheaper for Tesla. And Michael Bloomberg, he is the founder and majority owner of Bloomberg, calls for cancellation of NASA's Artemis program and the SLS rocket. As he says, SpaceX Starship can do the same for a small fraction of the cost, and unlike the SLS, it is reusable. Yep, nice to hear this from someone else. And Alex spit some more facts out this week, sharing this chart and wrote, BEVs continues to become more affordable because of lower battery cost and higher volume. And ICE will continue to become more expensive because lower volume are a cost driver. Yes, this is something many are forgetting when they talk about ICE vehicles being a thing in 10 or 15 years from now. The market is going to look very very different at that point. And before we end up with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my newest supporters of this channel. My new YouTube member, Bob Bresnaha, and my new Patreon producer, Andrew L. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. The secret to a successful relationship.
There's two inputs, Dawn and Laura, my wife Laura. Okay, if I'm wrong and Laura's right, this is a really easy one. Laura's right. That's simple. Thank you very much. That one seemed obvious to me. Believe it or not, from here, it gets complicated. Okay, if we're both right, it doesn't matter. Laura's right. Thank you very much. That's the key. I would rather be happy than be right. That's what I'm thinking. If I'm right and Laura's wrong, doesn't matter. Laura's still right. And if we're both wrong, Donna's wrong. If you're a single guy, take out your phone and take a photo of this. You're going to need to know it someday. I'd rather be happy than be right. That's what I mean.
That is all we have time for in this news show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so don't miss out on future videos just like this one.
And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheet also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.